Welcome to Prepper Nation. I am John. Of course, most of you already know that, son. So, quick afternoon video, shall we say, lunchtime quickie, although it's probably going to hit a couple of hours after because that's how I roll. Uh, we need to talk about X, not Twitter, not that X, not the one that Elon Musk bought, but the hypothetical X that we keep hearing about in mainstream media. Hopefully y'all know what I'm talking about. The placeholder for the next big medical deal, right? The 19 pales in comparison to the X, according to health professionals. And I'm telling y'all right now, you better buckle up for this one because look, we are seeing it way too much all of the sudden in mainstream media. Now, some people are going to point to that and they're going to say, this is about the election, John. Come on, John. We done been down this road, son. You know it's about the election, right? But I don't think so. I think it goes way past that. I think this does not have to do with keeping T-Man out of the White House so much as it does reducing numbers. Let me just say it. I got to dress it up in a pleasant way because, you know, Google, we love Google. We love YouTube. Y'all rock YouTube. So I love dressing stuff up. It's like a one of those fancy parties that you go to, costume party or something every time we go. We drop a video here. But anyway, the health professionals of the world, they have their own organization. Um, they have been meeting, they have been creating. Now, this is nothing new. They've been doing this for the past year or so, at least. But they've been drafting legislation and framework um, and giving it to world leaders, giving it to it's such a bad thought. Joe Biden, here you go, the most powerful man in the world. President Joe Biden, can I get an amen? Here, we've got this framework for you, son. We need you to sign over everybody's rights. They're doing this in Canada. They're doing this all over, right? Because these are the experts. What do we know? These are the health experts, the ones that are allowed to speak anyway. And they are saying this is going to be, it has the potential to be 20 times worse than the 19. And so with this framework that they are developing and getting countries to sign off on, your rights wholesale being signed off. And believe me, I don't know where y'all stand on Biden, but he ain't got a problem doing it. He and Kamala do not have a problem signing off on this. So what they want to do with this framework is they want to, by their own admission, they want to avoid the mistakes that were made during the 19. Now you can ask yourself, what mistakes? What mistakes were made? Are we talking about the singling out of people who would not comply? Because that was a mistake. Are we talking about shutting down entire economies and grinding things to a halt? Stuff that is still to this day affecting, the supply chain. We talking about those kind of mistakes? No. They want to implement constant monitoring, the tracing via cell phones and things, um, which was optional last time. You could sign up for the application. I don't know if y'all remember this or not. And you could do the tracing thing, and it would not only tell you if there was somebody with the 19 around you, but it constantly kept up with you. That's how the application worked. But again, it was voluntary last time. This time around, they want to make it mandatory that everybody has this. They want 100% conformity and compliance, and they want it on a large scale. Too many people refused to bend the knee last time. Too many people refuse to comply, and they can't have that. They can't have all of the holdouts this time around. So again, by their own admission, the meeting between these health professionals, They admit with this new, again, placeholder, but it's the hypothetical X. They're saying up to 50 million people could be gone as a result of this thing. And I'm not throwing that's a scary number, right? But I'm not throwing that number out on this video to scare you intentionally. I'm doing this because there seems to be a heavy focus in mainstream media, again, on this hypothetical X. They seem to key in on certain phrases when they're talking about the hypothetical X. Again, the convenience and avoiding mistakes. They focus on those key phrases, and they focus on that up to 50 million gone. They focus up on 20 times worse than the 19 was. These are all scare tactics, I believe, through mainstream media. Plus, we have to remember there's a heavy focus right now by elites on prepping. When it comes to prepping and survival and bunkers, these people are literally prepping like their hair is on fire right now. Now you don't have a billionaire uh like Mr. G. He's not going in and laying the foundation himself like Bob the Builder and putting this stuff in the ground. Of course, he's paying lots of money to very highfalutin companies to come in and do this for them. But they're spending insane amounts of money. Stuff they typically look, man, I don't care for these people, but you have to give credit where credit is due. They're billionaires for a reason. These people do not waste money. They're not in the business, well, maybe Elon Musk, but the rest of them, they're not in the business of just dropping 20 million, 50 million, 2 billion and saying forget about it. These people are greedy. And so when they're dropping billions of dollars to have bunkers put into the ground on private islands, stock chock full with this stuff, they know something is coming. All right. They are investing this money. They're not just throwing it away. That combined with WW3, I mean, come on, man. That many people potentially going away because of this new X, this hypothetical X on top of WW3. Man, you talking about making the world slim. Population numbers going to be whittled way down, right? The bad news, as hard as it is to believe for some of you, the bad news is that the 19 may have actually just been a trial run. That's the bad news because it was bad, right? It was bad. I don't think it was Spanish flu bad, but the things that were implemented were really, really bad. The good news is people like us, the preparedness minded folks out there, we have a blueprint. So if we see another variation or we see this hypothetical X begin to break out mass scale, we know exactly what to expect and how to prep accordingly. We know how society will act. We know it depends on their political affiliation what governors are going to do. Are they going to shut the state down? Are they going to open it wide open? Are they going to force you to comply while also letting people come across the border with nothing, no compliance whatsoever? We know that neighbors are going to snitch on one another because they did it last time. We know people are going to tattle in stores. Oh man, there's somebody back in paint and they're not wearing a face diaper. Go get him. Go get him, son. We know that's coming. We know what kind of shortages to expect. Again, because we have the blueprint. We know what people went after immediately. A little side story here for you, real quick. I won't get too sidetracked, I promise. When the thing first hit, okay, or the talk of the 19 was hitting, we made one last run, and I actually enjoyed it. We made one last run to a larger Walmart in this area. And I told my wife when I got there, I gave her a list of a few things. I said, we already have this stuff, but pay attention, see if it's gone. If it's on sale, scoop it up anyway, because you never know. And I went back to hardware. I picked up screws. I picked up nails. I picked up another set of cheaper wasn't Craftsman, it was a cheaper set of screwdrivers, a hammer, and I got a bunch of the Brita filters. When I say a bunch, I'm talking 30 plus because they were on clearance. It ended up being like $3 a piece. But anyway, when we got to groceries, certain things were indeed missing. The toilet paper, I will never understand. The bleach was gone. All of the cleaning stuff was gone. All of the paper and the plasticware was totally wiped out. Your staples, like your beans, your rice, your peanut butter, all this stuff was getting hammered, your powdered milk. So we know what to expect if we see this again. And if you know that, prep it. Don't get caught without this stuff. And we all have a line in the sand, I think, because of the C-19. I wish everybody's line in the sand was the same, but honestly, it's not. I mean, it is what it is. Don't get the messenger on that. But some people are going to do whatever they have to do to keep their income intact, and they're going to comply at work. Other people are never ever going to comply. And then you got a lot of people here in the middle, and their lines in the sand. They're all over the place. The point is, you already have a line in the sand. You already know what you're not willing to do, whatever the newest disease is called. How many of you think about this? How would you have prepared for the 19 differently? If you could go back and you could do that one final shopping run, how would you have prepared for it differently? I would have I would have got more over the counter meds. That's me. We may have picked up a little bit. We had some here, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough because we caught it here at the house. But you may get the opportunity for a mulligan or a redeal. You may get to try it again because they seem to be hammering home this idea of this new X, this hypothetical deal. Everything, when you take a look at it, whether it's the election chaos, whether it is this new X, this hypothetical X deal, WW3, everything seems to point to a certain year that is 6 years from now. Everything seems to point to that time. You know what I mean? Like people, the elites, again, they're prepping like their hair's on fire because they know by that time, scorched earth, one way or the other. However we get there, as long as it's scorched, that's all that seems to matter to some of these people. They have a lot to accomplish. Believe it or not, we're just getting started with this, folks, with the SHTFs. I know some of y'all get burnt out, and like we were talking about this morning, it happens, but we're just getting rolling. And we've got 6 years plus of just hit after hit after hit because, again, they have a lot to accomplish before they get to what they believe is the finish line. Elites are prepping. This is why they're prepping, I think, at breakneck pace. Sorry. Nikki Haley is not the top news story here in the United States or the world abroad. If you go to mainstream media right now, that's all they're talking about. Nikki Haley, she's gaining ground on Trump. Nikki Haley is the alternate candidate to Trump. Nikki Haley can beat Joe Biden. Nikki Haley wants DeSantis supporters. She's not the top story. That's a distraction, folks. Whatever is going to play out with that election is going to play out. Um, but it's a topic that's being used to do this, to blind you. So you can't see what's going on the other side. All right. They're hitting you with all of the distractions, all of the Nikki Haley crap. It'll be something totally different next week to blind you while grown up stuff is happening behind the curtain. The elites know this. That is what they are prepping for. All right. So please, stay informed, take 5 minutes a day, catch up on the political scene, but don't obsess over that. They want you to obsess over that. They don't want you to be prepared. Okay. Forget about Nikki Haley. Prep for the coming storm because I promise you it is going to be nasty. That is not me trying to whip you into a panic. Okay. You shouldn't have to panic. You should be prepared. And that's where I want you to be. Y'all take care and God bless.